Hi, I'm Jenna Lynn Roberts with Present Path Tarot, and today I feel like sharing a reading about what the heck is going on with this COVID thing and why are we going through it. It's a two-part reading, and the first part here is about more of the personal individual experience, and the second part is more about the bigger picture of societal levels. So we start over on this side with the Three of Cups. So we're moving this way down the spread. The Three of Cups, socializing, remember that? Oh, I miss it. But along with the joys of socializing of the past, we also had an overwhelm of the Ten of Pentacles down here, which is reversed. So, Ten of Pentacles can be great when it's upright, it can be abundance, but up reverse to me, it's about abundance in a way that's draining, that's exhausting. And so we were on a full throttle movement into managing all of our pentacles, which is all of our earth, but we weren't really taking care of the earth, both exteriorly on a big picture, but more in this particular reading individually. So this situation started when we had an Ace of Wands reverse. So our plans all went diffused very quickly. The match got put out of whatever projects we were starting. Boom, everything fizzled. And with that is very interesting to me. We have the Eight of Cups. That's a card of usually leaving something behind of your own heart's volition. And in this case, I feel like we all somehow left something behind that we were okay to leave behind from the previous era. Maybe we needed a break from socializing. Maybe we needed to not step into some of the roles we were stepping into. So, taking a moment to think about what you might have left behind when this all started, that you're grateful that you left behind and that you don't want to return to, because that comes further into the reading as we go into the Hermit card. Now, I love the Deviant Moon deck, but I don't love its Hermit card or its Strength card. I don't feel like they present well, but I love the darkness of the deck, and I decided to go with the creepy deck for the pandemic plague situation we're in. And the Hermit card is here presented in a way that I think we can relate to, the sort of frustration of loneliness that comes with a situation. And normally the Hermit card presents someone who's doing spiritual study, and I want you to consider how you can do that, because you can be alone and you can be watching bad television and eating bad food, or you can be alone and you can be meditating, studying spiritual guides, listening to higher spirit, listening to yourself, building things that you want to become better at that are on a spiritual realm. And I think that the Ten of Wands here of this character carrying these sticks presents to me a story of we have a choice. We can either make quality time with our alone time. We can engage on a spiritually conscious level with ourselves and others right now, or we can just tap into the overwhelm of it all and just fly into the land of disconcertedness. So I want you to make a personal individual choice as to which one feels right to you. I think it's an obvious one in this case. Then we have the Three of Swords, which has to do with the grief and heartache that we're facing on some levels of whatever loss we might be personally going through, and just societally in some ways. But what I find interesting is it's tied to the Judgment card. The Judgment card is about you going through a journey and finding your own truth and being able to share that truth with the world emphatically, joyously, and loudly. They got a horn. So to me, this is about you being able to finally state who you are. I have stepped into being more open about my tarot reading in this time, and sometimes I'm a little bit shy about, not shy, but it's such an odd field to be in, and I've been owning more fully that this is my truth, that this is what I love and I'm passionate about. And we have to be unabashed as we step into anything that we love, and that can be my truth, but I really wonder what yours is. So I'd love it if you wanted to share in the comments what you're learning about yourself through this, through both your hermit time alone. How do you feel being a hermit? What spiritual books you might be reading? And also, I'd love it if you would share about what do you think your truth is that's coming forward? that you really feel you need to share. And that comes, we can't really share that truth until we shed our old beliefs about our identity, our old beliefs about what is. And because otherwise you're not sharing a new truth. So I really want you to think about how can you own yourself fully as you experience yourself to be through a hermited period where you're not socializing, where you don't have the habits of slipping into your old self again and again. You know, when we go into the society that we normally are in, we choose to follow patterns that suits them and comforts them. And I want you to ask, how do I want to return into that someday a little differently? So that's what I feel on an individual level. And then on the other side, we have, the very major arcana heavy, which makes sense, the societal, what's it all about COVID like level. So the first one I love, as we know, the Tower card is right here, right now. The Tower card is about systems falling, things dissolving, and it's the only way for us to evolve is for us to face our Tower card. It is the hero's challenge. It is the great opponent in a sense. And it's that lesson in life which we must all learn. And right now, societally, on a large scale, systems are going to be befuddled and shifting. With that is the moon card, which is facing our shadows. We have seen a lot of our shadows come out of this scenario. Whew. We've seen how economic, racial divisions, how rich people on yachts doesn't necessarily represent how people are experiencing this well. And we're facing our fears, and it's uncomfortable. The moon card is an uncomfortable card, and it's a card of really letting yourself see your whole self through your shadow and your light. So what I like here also is if you think about it, you have this light in this particular deck. This light up here is shining a light onto the tower that's dissolving it and letting it crumble over the shadow of the moon. So each of us individually can look at our shadow selves. I've had to become honest about some of my darkness within, and I hope that you too can embrace your whole self through this experience. But as a society, how can we also see the shadow that is arising from this and say we're ready for change? The Fool card is about new beginnings. So the systems will fall, we will have new beginnings, and with that comes the Knight of Swords, who has his head on straight or her head on straight. The knight is typically more masculine, the page is more feminine, but that's not in the sense of female and masculine, that's more in the sense of action. So the knight is a young character. It's someone who is taking action. And I actually really appreciate noticing that the red and white matches the red and white on the Fool. That the Fool card is someone who is growing and evolving and changing through facing their fears and through going into the shadow realms and leaving their safety of their village. And with the Knight of Swords, that's saying that they are intellectually looking at things. They're looking at things with logic and intelligence and not just emotion. There's not a lot of emotion back here. This series is telling us to really get into our heads. That means study. That means learning. That means understanding the past. That means looking at history and really acting from a place of wisdom and knowledge collectively. That means we all need to get out our books and do some studying. You know, there's all this free education online right now. Make use of it. Make use of it, okay? And lastly, then we have the Judgment card, which I'm actually quite excited to see, that we might find balance from that moon, from that shadow that we've been facing. We might be able to say, we know how to make the world on a more practical level with the Page of Pentacles, in a more leaning back state being the page, we know how to make the world more balanced And this is a gentle way because of the Page of Pentacles. It softens the intensity of the judgment of of the Justice card for me, because it is saying, hey, sit with what's practical. And it's practical if we all are cared for. It's practical if we have security. So looking at how we're moving in towards justice. So I'm really happy about this particular reading, even though it's quite heavy in a sense with the Tower and the Moon card as the beginning. We're currently in that phase of the Tower and Moon card. It's not easy. We're moving into the Fool card of new beginnings, which is exciting. And so try and think of this as an adventure, even though it's scary and awkward and we're all nervous. I know. Try to see how there's an adventure in this, and we don't know what's to come, but justice in a healthy way is to come. And to me, justice is not like a warlord justice. It's a justice card of balance in the world, that we have more equality and equity in our society, and we're doing it in a practical way from a place of knowledge and learning that the Knight of Swords offers. So that's my reading for today. I'm excited about it. And I hope that you'll subscribe to my page. I hope that you'll leave some comments as to what you're experiencing during this, how this reading might resonate with you or not. And yeah, please share with me anything that you want to offer into what you're seeing in your own tarot cards if you're reading. And you can find me on Instagram as Present Path Tarot, on Facebook, and on presentpathtarot.com. Subscribe to me on YouTube, and you'll get more readings in the future. And I really appreciate you being a part of this today by listening in and considering the bigger picture. So have a lovely day, and have a good COVID. Whatever this is about, sit in some trust, and do some good hermiting, and engage in some knowledge building. Thank you.